G'day and welcome back to Australian Natural Hide Tanning. Today here we've got a fallow deer. Pretty clean skin. Got a little bit of meat and fat on it. A little bit there, a little bit there. This is pretty clean. It's a little bit through here. So what we're going to do is just run the knife through it, just very gently, very easy. Just see how she goes. When you go to do a hide, first thing you should do is, I'll just move that knife out of my way, just check the hide. You know, this is not a bad hide actually. It's not a, it's a good thick skin, good fur on it. So I might keep it on, but if it starts to slip, I'll just take it off. But just check, especially if you go and hunt them yourself. Most important, if you hunt them yourself and you get the deer out of the wild yourself, just run your hand gently, don't force it, because if there is a prickle or something there, it's going to go into your hand. And just make sure that there's no prickles or bits of twigs or anything like that, because that you don't want to be doing your hide and hit something from the other side, because you could put a hole in it. And if you notice, there's a lot of hair comes off. That's not slippage. That's typical of a deer. A deer, even when tanned, you know, you might have it sitting on your floor for 5 years. It'll keep losing its hair because the hair fibers are actually hollow. So that's why you never see, or very rarely will you see, a deerskin jacket with the hair still on it. That's why they always take the hair off, because the hair always sheds. Okay, so what I'm going to do, and per usual, as I mentioned in my video, always start the head. It's just a lot easier, much easier. And as I say, I explain that in my DVD. You start at the head. You don't have to. It's something I do. You don't have to. I have seen programs where they start at the centre and go from belly to belly. I tried it. I didn't really get too much out of it. I found it easier to do it from head to tail. But you're not going to ruin the hide if you experiment and try it that way. So basically what you do is you get the centre of there's the tail here, get the centre, and just don't try and stretch right down. Well, if you're like me and little short arms, you can't go right the way down there, but don't bother, you're going right down there. That'll happen. So you start as far back as possible. See, I'm just pinching. So you start as far back as possible. Just and once again, in my DVD, I show you how to use the fleshing knife properly. These are great fleshing knives. They're stainless steel Weeb 8-inch. Absolutely awesome. But just like that. Okay. And as I explained in my DVD, the way I do it is I will push and then turn it to about a 45-degree angle, and that way I get under it. If you have a look here, if you zoom into here, you'll notice, okay, things like this. Don't worry about it. Really don't worry about that. You can sit here and you can try and get it out, but you don't need to. That's just a bit of skin that has no beginning, has no end. You can get that later. The most important thing you want to get off your hide is all the fat and all the flesh that's left on it. Okay? And in deer, most deer, if they've been done properly, most deer throughout here are clean, really nice and clean. It's usually the head and the sides and a little bit around the tail area, but apart from that, most of it's pretty clean. I find deer, I enjoy doing deer because they're a little bit forgiving, because the hide is a little bit thicker than, you know, like sheep, you know, or goat. You know, older goats are a thicker hide, but these ones, you know, they're a little bit more forgiving. You can give it a little bit more roughage and be a little bit more rough with it. When it folds like that, don't keep going, okay? Push it out, because you will cut it. Even though, you know, it's not really, it's not sharp, but it's sharp. It's sharp enough to get under here, because you don't want this super sharp. So you don't want it sharp, because what will happen is you'll cut your skin. Okay, so as you go along, I only go to about here because of my little short arms. Okay, and then I come back to here. So now what I'm going to do is drag it over. You see, I can see all the fat here. That fat's going to have meat in with it. So you definitely have to get rid of it. And then what you do, see what I do with mine is I come in under it and then turn it like that. Usually I have mine this up against the wall, so I don't keep pushing it like this. You can get a knife if you want. Sometimes you'll be able to grab it and just pull it through. Other times it's just going to be a real pain in the bum and not move for you. And the main reason I'm doing this, it's actually easier to do it with that, but I've got to put some force onto this, and if I do, I'm going to move all this up against the wall. That's really the only reason I'm doing it this way. Now, that's got fat in it, okay? It's flesh, but it's also got fat in it. So what I do with the fat, with any of them, sheep, deer, doesn't matter. Keep your fat, put it in the freezer, and then when you've got nothing to do one day, just get a little old billy and boil it up. Put a little bit of water in it, boil it up, and get the fat out of it. Drain the fat off, and you've got yourself candles. You know, buy yourself some wicks or make yourself some wicks, and they work quite well. Okay, so as you can see, this is all dry, all nice and clean now. Then I've come up with a hole here. I will cut that out and get rid of it, but not just yet. So I'm just very gently. Okay, I can see here I have flesh. So what I'm going to do, okay, that's going to be, well, what I can do, just to make it easier for myself, that I'm not going to use, so I just cut it off. Just cut it off, get rid of it, you don't need it. Try if you can, when you're doing this, to keep the center as possible and bring this side over. I know it sounds double Dutch, but when you start doing one, you'll understand. Okay, so that's got some fat in it, so I'll keep it. You see all this here? I'll scrape it, but there's really nothing there. You know, and that's what I do like about deer, is you can pretty much see where the fat and the skin is, fat and the flesh. See all little bits here, but apart from that, that's all nice and clean. Doesn't mean you can't do it. You know, it doesn't mean you can get a little bit lazy and say, oh, I don't need to do that. Do it anyway, just to make sure. Okay, so just, and what you're doing is ploughing. Now you're pushing it. Now I'll try and slow down for you, so you might have a better understanding of what I'm doing. Okay, so I'm starting about here. It's straight up and down, and as I go, I turn this to about a 45 degree. See that? And what that does is gets under and keeps moving everything. But as you see, that's nothing. You know, that you'll always get off the hide, but it's nothing. So then you just keep moving your hide over, and you do one way, and then you go and do the other. So if you see here, that's not really, that's not fat or it's just membrane basically. You know, you can try and get rid of all this, and some you will get rid of, and others you won't, because it's very much, as I say, it's the piece of skin that really has no end and no beginning. You know. So now what I'll do is just keep moving up. Until I've done the whole lot. What I'll do is I'll cut these bits off. See, that's where the knee was. I'll cut that about here. I don't need that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep flashing this. I hope this has shown you a little bit. And what I'll do is I'll come back shortly and I'll show you what it looks like finished. Welcome back. Here's the end result. We've done the neck right the way through, and just in time too. See all these white there? That's where it's drying. Now usually what I do is I'll put this up. Actually, I'll put this back in water and I'll soften it up a little bit more, because you don't want it drying out like that when you put it up on your stretching frame. But usually what I do is before I tan them, I put them up on my stretching frame. I stretch them out, and that way what that does, that opens up the fibres, gives you a little bit bigger hide, and helps the solution go in a little bit further. As you can see, it starts to turn white. That's okay. What I'll do is I'll fold this back up, and because I'm running out of daylight, it's about 4 o'clock, what I'll do is I'll fold him belly to belly that way, or skin to skin, and then just roll him up. Okay, I'll put him in a bag and I'll put him in the freezer. He'll be fine until I'm ready to use him. The reason you put him in the bag is you don't want freezer burn, so you put him in a bag. Okay, if you do get freezer burn, off the top of my head, I think you wash your skin in conditioner, and it'll take the freezer burn back out. Okay, so that's her there. Now what I've got to decide is, it is a very, very lovely, must be a winter coat, because it is very thick. Little fallow deer. And that's her there. That's the... Okay, she will stretch out a lot more. Okay, when we finish with her, she would have stretched out about that. Okay, so that's her there. Beautiful. Now what we will be doing is, this is fleshed. This is a deer hide that's been fleshed. Okay, so the next step with this is to tan it. Okay, tan it, stretch it out, break the fibres, soften it, smoke it, and then You know, use it as a floor rug, use it as what you want. Or what you can do is you can soak it overnight in water, take the fur off, take all the hair off, and make traditional buckskin. Okay, we are in the process of, if you wanted to buy this particular one and finish it off yourself, you can buy it off us. But I'll keep you up to speed and informed of how we're going. What we're going to be offering is kangaroo hides, deer hides, goat, and I think sheep, and a wassie if I can get it, at different stages. You can buy them like this. This one here is still salted. Okay, this is a red deer. So you can buy them like that. I think it's $50. That's postage anywhere in Australia. Or if you don't have the facilities to take all the flesh off, you can buy it at this stage. Or if you don't have the facilities to buy it at this stage, you can buy it at the next stage, right the way through to the finished product. So it just depends on what you want to do. So if you're really interested in doing tanning but you can't get skins, we can supply them for you. Okay, well, I'll wrap it up now. I'll fold this up and I'll put it away in the freezer and make myself a new frame. My old frame broke when we moved, so I've got to make myself a new one. As always, please stay safe, stay proud. Don't forget to push that like button, share, subscribe. Go and have a look at the web page. That's where my DVD is. If you want to learn every single step, feel free to purchase the DVD. Thank you so much for your support. Take care now.